From the city that brought you the NBA defending champs, Toronto Raptors.
Welcome to Zoned In Podcast.
My name is Faheem.
My name is NellyJ.
Get zoned in.
Zoned in. Hello.
If you guys didn't see that, that was a Raptor championship ring.
Oh, yes. You come with the bling tonight, huh?
Representing.
Dope.
No.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We're excited. This is our second episode for season 2. We have two. We have 2 phenomenal guests that I'm excited for you to get to know, and we're gonna have an amazing discussion tonight. So our first guest is no stranger to the Zoned In podcast listeners and viewers. He's been on it multiple times in our season 1, and he's back for season 2. Mr. Debo. What's up, Debo?
Thank you. You're far too kind.
And Debo, you also have a website, right? What's that about? Your website?
Well, I've been trying to venture out into new themes. Website is in it's under construction.
Okay.
It's under construction, but I do have another IG page outside of the one that you see there.
Okay. And that's called what?
Carbon Footprint Entertainment.
Excellent. So go check him out, guys. Support Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs, and of course, he's at Debo the Original 220. Our second guest is one of my sisters from another misters. And I'm so excited to have her on. She's a first-time guest in season 2. Lisa, welcome. How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
And Lisa, like you have a lot of ventures that you're working on too. So what's your latest project that you're working on right now?
My latest project or rebirth really is my mobile nail business. I do have a business called Lisa Michelle's Nails. So I'm just kind of in the rebranding phase, but look out for that soon on IG.
Excellent. Another Black business owner, entrepreneur. I love to see it.
Nice.
So, so I want our viewers to kind of get to know you guys a bit more. So I have a question for you to answer. I'll go Debo first. Debo, who's one of your favorite athletes of all time in any sport? Just name one of them.
Well, Michael Jordan.
Why?
Let's keep it simple. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan,
because
okay.
he destroyed my first idol, which was Magic Johnson.
Oh.
I started watching basketball because of Magic Johnson, and what Michael Jordan did to him made me first hate Michael Jordan, but then I came around.
Nice.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. And Lisa, who is your favorite athlete of all time in any sport? 1 or 2. I know it's kind of hard to decide on one, but
I can't give you one. I'm gonna give you 2.
Okay.
In no particular order, given that it's just 2. Cynthia Cooper is literally like my all-time favorite ball player. Like all hail. Well, Cooper Dyke, I should say. And Dominique Dawes. When I was younger, I was really into gymnastics. My parents never let me do it, but I was obsessed with her. I thought it was just amazing to see someone who looked like me doing the types of things that I wanted to do. And she just always stood out to me as the most athletic, even the way her body looked, her performances, everything was amazing.
That's a throwback name right there.
Yo, those are phenomenal athletes. Yes.
Wasn't she the one in the Prince video?
Was she in the Prince video?
There was a Prince video when there was gymnastics. There was a gymnast in it. I want to say it was her.
Oh, Dominique. Faheem. That's your No, you don't know? He's like, I have no clue. All right,
Too obscure a reference.
No, but those are awesome athletes, guys, especially Dominique. Yo, I used to watch everything she did. I remember back in the day. And Cynthia Cooper, I was having combo with Jomo, our Zoned In member team, about Cynthia Cooper, how she's who I love to watch when the WNBA came out. So yeah, definitely, all legends.
Yes.
All legends.
Was she on the USC team with Cheryl Miller?
For Olympics?
No, the USC team.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think so.
College, I'm not sure.
Because if she was, that team was stacked.
I think so.
I think Cheryl Miller would be a little bit older, I would think.
No, like so Swoops and Cooper were the same time, right?
Oh, I thought you meant Cheryl Miller. Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, but we can look it up later for sure.
Hey, Debo, you asked a question. I'm gonna ask you to pull it up.
He can't because he's on his phone right now.
Debo.
He's on his phone. I pull it up right now, but I'm trying to fact check.
I got two phones. Hold up.
He's like
So what are we looking up here?
Cheryl Swoops,
Mhm.
and to see which NCAA team she played on.
Yeah, she was USC from 82 to 86.
Oh, then they played together.
Swoops and who?
Miller.
So,
Cheryl Miller?
Oh, Miller. Okay, Miller.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Wow, I would have thought Cheryl Miller was older. Okay.
Look up that team. That team was stacked.
Crazy.
Good one.
Crazy.
JaVale McGee's mom was on that team too.
For real. Yo, Debo's memory is insane.
Yo, don't come for Debo tonight, man.
Hey, listen, man. Yo, like women's
right?
basketball. I support women's basketball, man.
Yeah.
I'm here for women's basketball. Any type of basketball, I'm watching it. But like WNBA when it first came in, true say I haven't really watched any games this year yet. But I'm for women's basketball for sure.
Well, that's perfect because now we're actually going to move to our next segment, Zoned In, Zoned Out. So Faheem, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so Zoned In, Zoned Out. So we know about, well, actually, first of all, let's go in with Zoned In, Zoned Out with Iggy. So Andre Iguodala and Aerial Powers. And we all did
number 23.
Yes. Andre Iguodala tweeted out number 23 is pretty good. Aerial Powers tweeted back and pretty was not happy about it. Said pretty much if you don't, what was it? If you don't something like if you don't
put
say my name,
respect on my name or keep the tweet to yourself.
Keep the tweet to yourself, right? So are you zoned in or zoned out with first of all Iguodala and not saying the number? Or not saying the name, saying the number.
So I think for me, being who played sports, who played ball back in the day, I think especially for WNBA athletes, a lot of NBA players don't respect them. And if they do, they don't support them. So him tweeting out number 23 towards a female athlete with already that stigma behind it, I don't think Iggy tried to be malicious, but it just shows that like, if he understood what's been happening, I think to Google her number to say, hey, this girl's good. What's her like? To me, if you cared about an athlete and if she was really that good, you would look up her name. That's what I do. I'm like, oh, who's that player? I'm gonna look it up and go, wow, and you tweet that. But the fact that it's like, you know what, you're good, but I don't need to figure out who you are because you're a number to me. I think that is like you didn't care as much to even find out who I am, let alone just tweet me like that. And again, there's quite a few athletes. I mean, I saw Aerial Powers. She was actually on Carmelo's podcast or show Carmelo this past week. So athletes do know her, but Iggy like took you 2 seconds to just look up her name and tweet it, because if you really cared that she was a good player, you'd want to know who she is. So I was zoned the hell out of his tweet. And even after she called him out, he was like
he said like no manners.
He said no manners. Yeah.
No manners.
Yeah, because again, at the end of the day, you cannot, like, everyone speaks their truth. So if what you tweet hurts somebody, just say, yo, my bad. Because remember, like, like Iggy, like, who are you to her? She don't know you like that, right? So maybe, like, say, yo, my bad. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Like, I'm sorry. But you're really good, and I support you, and that's it. Just be humble. His tweet back was also pretty ignorant, so I'm zoned out of Iggy, zoned in on Aerial Powers. What she said, I'm all for that, and I hope in the future, if you're an NBA player tweeting out a female athlete in WNBA, put some respect on their damn name.
All right, Lisa?
I share the exact same sentiments as Janelle. I do have a little bit of a twist to it. I think the initial tweet, like just looking at the tweet itself, I'll be honest, I didn't have that much of a problem with. Growing up playing sports, I mean, even still now, I play football, and it's very common to just kind of refer to someone as they're playing, like, okay, I see you number 25, I see you number 10. But I think just like Janelle said, he had the opportunity to, you know, either retract his statement or make it better. And I mean, Ariel replied back to me with like a good response. Hey, like, put some respect on my name. Like, me and you both play professional basketball in the States. Like, it just goes to show that there are a lot of people out there, not only NBA players, that just don't respect the WNBA in general, to take the time to Google their name, especially because they're both coming almost in a sense from the same organization. So I'm definitely zoned in with Aerial Powers and zoned out with Iggy.
Debo.
Now maybe it's because I have the complete opposite reaction to my female counterparts here, and maybe it's because I'm thinking of it as a male, and I can't see how a female would react to being told that. Me as an athlete, I have been referred to my number a whole bunch of times, and never have I thought of it as a disrespectful slight. Now, if she thought that was disrespectful, what she could have said was, you know what, Iggy, I appreciate you saying that I'm nice or whatever, but my name is Aerial Powers. And here's the thing. Her Instagram handle has number 23 on it. So she knows that 23 is a number that she actually represents herself as. So when someone else refers to her as 23, why is it an issue? Now, in basketball, when you commit a foul, the ref does not say your name. He calls you by your number. Does she go to the ref and say, how disrespectful is that? So you know what I mean? So what I think that it's a petty slight. Like, there's no reason to make a big deal out of this to the point where you're trying to cancel Andre Iguodala.
I mean,
okay, so hold on, Nelly. Hold on.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I have something to say.
Okay, hold on. Wow. So I just heard two completely different sides of this.
Yes.
I'm gonna stay neutral on this and just sit back.
How you really feel?
Hold on. I'm just gonna grab my popcorn and let you guys go at it. Because
okay, so I'll go first, right? I'll go first. Ahead. So you're right. In sports, people call you by number, but that's typically when you're in person. So yeah, if
during league play,
So I play basketball, I'm called by number as well. I get that. So in person, no problem. And guess what? If you and that person have a friendship prior to that tweet, she wouldn't care, right? We don't know how Iggy has acted around her in the past. We don't know if Iggy has ignored them in the past. What if they've done an event and he's kind of been like whatever with them, right? I think sometimes people like to look at, oh, she should have whatever, but still, I just feel that at the end of the day, his tweet bothered her. Okay. So instead of you saying like you're sorry, like, yo, my bad, I didn't mean to make like to be disrespectful, but you know, you're good, my bad. Just say you're bad, acknowledge her feeling. We're not asking, and to me, I don't think Iggy, like, again, did it out of malicious. Like, I don't think he was trying to be rude, because I don't know Iggy like that. I can't talk for the man. But what I'm saying, though, is that when someone tells you, Debo, that something bothered them, just say, you're sorry. Like, how is that a hard thing to do? You know what I'm saying?
Nelly, hold on. Let me help you for a second.
Yeah.
So, what you just backtracking a bit, where you said about perhaps Iggy may have done something to her, or sorry, I don't want to.
So what I said was that no one knows the history of the player.
Okay,
you
good.
know that, right?
So let me hold on. Let me help you with the history.
Okay, cool.
Iguodala did come out before and say that he didn't want his daughter to play in the WNBA.
Thank you.
In fear of her being a lesbian.
Hey. Yes.
Just the context of the conversation. My popcorn's ready. Continue.
Okay,
that's what my point was going to be.
Okay,
so there's a little bit of history, not necessarily.
He was alleged to have said that.
Come on, Debo.
So
what?
I'll put my point, right? So Debo.
Now it's allegedly. Okay.
This is the problem, right, Debo? One second, right? 1 second, and then I'll pass to Lisa. Debo, end of the day, Debo, if any player or anyone, and even in life, everyone in life, if you see something that you didn't mean to be rude, again, it happens all the time. Misspeaking happens, right? Say something to Lisa or you, and you're like, yo, that's kind of rude, Jay. I'll be like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to be rude. Like, sorry. But what I meant to say is that you're really good at basketball, and like you're pretty dope. And that's it. I think Iggy came at her even more like just rude for no reason, right? So what I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, for me, I just feel that, again, the history of Iggy towards female basketball, thank you for dropping that gem, Faheem. But on top of that, fine, Iggy, you didn't mean to be rude. Just say, oh, I didn't mean that. Just say that. Just humble yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Go ahead, Lisa.
All right, so here's
oh, sorry.
Here's
hold up, Debo. Hold up, Debo. Go ahead, Lisa.
I was gonna say that we know that he's rude because he responded with no manners. Number one. Number two, as Faheem so eloquently mentioned, there definitely is history with. Let's be honest. Like, if we're really gonna talk the things, right? Like, he's not the only person that has these types of things to say about women who play sports in general. Like, it happens literally in every sport. Like, whether it be, didn't Cam Newton say something disrespectful to woman reporter or something like that?
With the locker room or something. Yeah, I hear you.
Like, come on. Whether allegedly, I believe it's true. So I think that's more reason for me to believe, like, yeah, like he obviously meant it in like some type of like dig, right? Like, he had the same way that you can say, Debo, that Ariel just could have been like, okay, I appreciate the compliment, but next time can you refer to me as my name, sorry. We could say the same thing about him. When she replied back what she replied back, he didn't have to say no manners. Like, you're obviously looking for a fight.
Debo.
Yep.
Sorry.
So,
sorry.
No.
Here's Andre Iguodala's history of speaking on women's basketball that we know of.
Right.
An alleged dig talking about he doesn't want his daughters to be lesbians, and then him complimenting a woman for her play. So that's all we know. So we can say that he's 50-50, right? Complimenting one and then being disrespectful on the other side. Now, here's the thing. What Andre Iguodala said initially to him was not disrespectful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You guys even acknowledge that was not something said maliciously. So if that's the case and you felt hurt by someone doing something that was not done in a malicious manner, why would you do something disrespectful to him in response to that?
His response was no manners. No manners. No manners? Come on. You're leaving that out. You're leaving that part out.
Because that was his response to what she said.
No, she said put respect on her name.
Exactly, and that's what because he's thinking I complimented you, and that's what you're telling me. No manners.
Because that's his ego. That's his ego.
That's definitely his ego.
Hold on. Nelly J. Also, okay, you were talking about ego.
That's her ego.
That's her
of course.
Ego also.
Listen, of course it is. But listen, at the end of the day, guys, right? if you hurt someone's feelings, right, without trying to, guys, happen to everyone in our lives. We say something and someone took it the wrong way. It happens every day of everyone's lives. Daily, people say the wrong stuff all the time. I'm not saying Iggy has to be perfect. All I'm saying is that you cannot deny someone's feelings. That's all
I'm not going to deny that. All right, watch this.
Right? So if someone says...
What she said in response, was it not petty?
I won't say it's petty, because I think it could have been a lot worse by ignoring him and being like, whatever, I don't care what you say. I think she was like...
Well, Iguodala could have said what it could have been a lot worse.
I think for Aerial Powers, and actually, if you look at her post afterwards about the Iggy situation, she was saying that her response was just based on a history of feeling disrespected by male athletes, right? That's what, and she kind of outlined her feelings as to why. And again, I'm not saying right or wrong. All I'm saying is that you cannot deny someone's feelings, period. And yes, he could have been more like, hey, Iggy, you know, but guess what? Everyone's different, and that's cool. I'm just hoping that in the future that any NBA player does not tweet someone's number in WNBA, okay? And guess what? If Iggy had to be that person to be I guess highlighted on his tweet, I guarantee you in the future we're not going to see any NBA player tweet a number for a female athlete in WNBA. It will not happen again. And I'm hoping this was a teachable moment for everybody, because even though Iggy didn't mean it, for female athletes, Debo, it was a disrespect because of the history of male athletes towards women athletes. And that was what she said. So yes, you may think she could have responded nicer, but why is it on her, right? She's letting you know that she feels disrespected. You say, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to, and that's it, done. Just say my bad. The whole, yo, you have no manners though. Like, really, Iggy? That's your response? Again, I know if that was a dude that told him the same thing, he wouldn't have acted that way. Guaranteed, if a male athlete said the same thing she said, he'd be like, yo, my bad, I didn't mean it like that. But because she's a woman, he had to get all petty as well. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm done with my out.
Yeah, this is a situation where like either one, there's a chain of events that could have went either way. For instance, Iggy could have said that with good intentions. She could have hit him on, like, she could have DM'd him or something on the low, not out in public, and said, you know what, I didn't really appreciate that. Perhaps if she would have came that way, then Iggy could have said, okay, you know what, and maybe publicly said, yeah, her name, whatever, right?
True.
But by her response, there was nothing there to make Iguodala say, hey, you know what?
That's what I'm trying to get at. A petty response, got her a petty response back from Iggy.
I think something else to remember too is that this is just one isolated incident. This is one specific incident. So this is for Ariel and other players in the WNBA. This is coming off the heels of the numerous reports of the current living conditions in the bubble. This is coming off of the heels of just dating back to the beginning of time, just like in general, the disrespect shown towards women in sports. The fact that there's a distinction between, or the fact that there's a distinction of female athletes versus just being an athlete. These are things I think that are just kind of, she's probably been dealing with her entire career. She's been a baller since she was a kid, right? So these are things where, you know, whether she had to deal with stuff on the court, playing against guys, like, who knows her specific background, but being somebody that grew up playing basketball and in a lot of situations as a child being the only girl, trust and believe she's dealt with some stuff. So yeah, this specific incident might seem like Janelle said, it's being highlighted now. Everyone's talking about it right now, but she has plenty reason, I believe, to respond the way that she did, not only for herself, but for other athletes, I guess, that are women.
Right.
Yeah, you're
so,
right.
Why you say that? I want to say that one of the first things I said that was, I'm not a woman, so I don't know what that experience is like to have
and
like
you also support the WNBA. Yep.
And I don't know what it's like to have your experience as an athlete be marginalized. So I understand if like that's been happening like your whole career, and then Iggy comes and says it, and it's just that's just enough for you to snap. It's like a black person who has seen racism his whole or his or her whole life, and then that white person comes and just says like the littlest thing that makes that black person just snap. So I do get it. I do get it, but again, I'm just saying that in that isolated situation, the whole thing could have been handled better.
Right.
Oh, for sure. I think on both ends, you're right. I think on both ends, like Faheem said, you could have DM'd him and stuff like that. There are many different ways. Looking back, we're correct. But all I know is that when someone's triggered, okay, and we all have our trigger. Everyone has a trigger on the court, off the court. We all do. If one guy on the basketball court does something to you, that triggers you, like, you know how you're gonna act. Faheem, I've seen Faheem on a ball court with that trigger. We all have. Look at Faheem. Yeah, I have Faheem. Yeah. Listen, give him a ball.
Hey, listen, it's 2020. People be getting triggered for the littlest things these days.
Give Faheem a basketball, and this man trigger. Okay, so we all.
I hoop with him. He's not that bad.
I don't know.
I've seen much worse. I've seen much worse.
Okay, so I'm saying, but everyone has a trigger in sports, right? And I think he just stepped on a trigger that she has had, and that's why she acted that way. Again, no one's right or wrong. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, folks, respect someone's feeling. If someone feels hurt, acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge it and say, you know what? I didn't mean to hurt you, but my bad. That's all I was trying to say is that I hope even now after the fact that he acknowledged that even though he didn't mean to hurt her, it did hurt her, and that he can acknowledge that. That's it. But I do know that in the future, I know I'm not going to see any NBA player tweet a number again. That'll be the last time it's going to happen.
They don't want that. They don't want that smoke.
You don't want that smoke.
They don't want that Twitter smoke.
Don't want that Twitter smoke. That black Twitter will be on you, bro. You don't want that.
So on the flip side, we have Kyrie. This is own situation here that I think we should be talking about. Where Kyrie, he donated. I'll go through the list of what he's done for the WNBA players that did not make it into the bubble would be compensated. He donated to $200,000 to Beyond Burgers to the New York City Food Bank. He started a $1.5 million support fund for the WNBA players. He's produced a TV program called Justice for Breonna Taylor, and he's donated COVID masks to Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, in which he is actually a part of. So he's been very active. One thing that highlights and kind of ties in with this is what he's done with the support of the WNBA players. So that's a great thing. I'm pretty sure we're all zoned in on that. But how do we feel that it takes an individual player to do this when the WNBA as a league itself doesn't seem to be very supportive with people who couldn't make it into the bubble?
Yeah, I mean, I'm zoned in on Kyrie's support. I think, Kobe and Kyrie were very close, as we all know. And Kobe was a huge WNBA advocate. He loved the sport. He came to multiple games. He knew the players, the coaches. And I think, Kobe's influence on Kyrie's life, Kyrie knew that Kobe would really appreciate him supporting those players. So I think that's a good tie-in for me. The WNBA and the NBA, well, the NBA owns the WNBA, let's be real. And the NBA, I think right now, because they've lost so much money due to COVID, I'm not sure if they didn't want to support these players. But like last year, we spoke about the whole Skylar Diggins, and when she was a mat leave, she didn't get paid. Remember that? And she was going through postmortem, and as an athlete going through postmortem, and then your team wants you to play, and she didn't come back because she was going through postmortem, which is a serious thing for pregnant.
Postpartum.
Sorry, what did I say? Postpartum.
Yeah. It's postpartum.
Sorry, y'all. Late. Sorry, y'all. But so for me, it's more like the WNBA has shown that they have to increase some salaries, I think, for these athletes, but they're not supporting all these athletes who do need support. And I think Kyrie stepping in is huge. I hope more athletes step in and support these players. But I'm zoned in on Kyrie, and I'm zoned out in the WNBA and how they're handling the players that couldn't go in the bubble.
Question are all the WNBA teams in the bubble?
I believe so.
All right. So with that said, I think it's important.
Yeah.
I think it's important to highlight why there are certain players that are not in the bubble, and it's because they have chosen to follow Maya Moore's lead and completely skip out on the season to go help fight social justice issues. Maya Moore was successful in helping an innocent man finally get out of jail.
Right. We got
yes, that's huge.
Good point. That's good.
Very
but
good.
Actually, let's stay on that actually, because that's actually really positive. But I just what's it? Is Della Dawn?
Elena Della Dawn. She wasn't gonna. They weren't gonna pay for her medical leave, basically.
That's
exactly. They weren't gonna pay for medical leave, and she has Lyme disease.
Yeah.
So and she's like,
she's basically like the Larry Bird of the WNBA.
Right. So imagine that she has a legit condition. You know, she has Lyme disease, and they say, well, that's not covered with us, so we're not going to cover your expenses. Kyrie has to bail you out. It's not a good look.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
So Lisa, like your thoughts on Kyrie and having to help out the players and athletes and not the league?
I wasn't aware that he helped out in so many ways. I knew about his donation to, I guess, covering the costs of the players who chose not to come to the bubble, which I thought was amazing. So I'm definitely zoned in with Kyrie. I mean, that to me in general is kind of speaks for itself. Definitely zoned out with the WNBA/NBA, but I'm not surprised. Like I'm not surprised. It's not the first time that it's almost like there's like this complex, right? Where like a league that's for women's basketball, there has to be some type of like male savior, you know what I mean, to come in and it has to be him to be the one to donate. And this is no shade against him or me downplaying what he's trying to do. I'm just saying, like, the people that are, you know, the ones who sit in these big wig meetings with the NBA and WNBA, they definitely should be ashamed. And there needs to be some changes. It's ridiculous to me.
And like to be real, like 1.5 million, the NBA can't afford that. Really?
Of course they can. Of course they can.
Exactly. Like they can't afford to just give 1.5 mil. I get it. I know this guy's like, oh, the WNBA is a loss. There's no revenue, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. You want to keep your players happy. Because when they're happy, they perform better and they do better. It's like in any company or business. Once your players are happy with you, it goes on the court, it goes off the court. It's like an employee, right? And so, like Lisa said, it's annoying that they can't afford that amount of money for these athletes. Like 1.5 mil isn't a lot in the NBA.
Like, think about it. Like the money that they put into advertising for the WNBA or women's basketball alone is like, listen, I hear more people talking about the D League or G League, whatever,
right.
Than they do that, like, compared to what they say about the WNBA. So I mean, I don't know. It definitely sucks.
Yeah. Well, let's switch gears for a sec. So, as you heard, Nick Nurse, so the coaches got a chance to vote for who they thought was Coach of the Year this year, and it came between Mike Budenholzer, Billy Donovan, and Nick Nurse as a top three. And apparently the coaches didn't have Nick Nurse as winning. You zoned in, zoned out. How do you feel about Coach of the Year and the other coaches not recognizing Nick Nurse?
Who did they have winning?
And that's why
it didn't. Two-way tie, right?
Yeah, I think it's so. Nick Nurse was one vote away from making it a three-way tie, I thought. So let's see here.
The Bucks coach and
Utah.
Yeah.
What are the criteria for like Coach of the Year? Like maybe that's something that
no one ever knows. No one ever knows.
It varies, right?
Honestly, it's really. I think it's popularity contest. To be honest, it's popular because it's other coaches voting for like each other. So it's like an internal. You know, it's kind of like a popular kid, right? Like you know, in high school, like it's like that. And I think
like at collegiate level too. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I was zoned out. Nick Nurse, what he did without a superstar on his team. The other coaches have superstars. Nick Nurse doesn't. And I think it's BS. So you coaches, haters. And plus we are, I think, have a higher winning percentage without a superstar. That means that our team, our cohesiveness and the leadership and what Nick is doing with our team is he's doing a really great job. And a coach today to do what he's doing with a team without a superstar, I think is phenomenal. And I thought like he would have won, like slam dunk, but clearly I was wrong, heavily wrong. So I was zoned out.
The winner actually was a coach of the year between Budenholzer and Billy Donovan.
Yeah, a two-way tie.
Budenholzer's Milwaukee, no?
Right.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee coach and OKC's coach.
I'm not terribly mad at that. I'm not terribly mad at that. I'm zoned out because I do think Nick Nurse should win, but like those other two like are well deserving to be up there as well.
Lisa, you zoned in or zoned out with Nick Nurse or with how this panned out?
I am zoned in with Nick Nurse. Put some respect on his name, like Aerial Powers. Like
nice.
Yeah, that's what I got.
NellyJ?
Yeah, so I am zoned in on Nick Nurse. I'm zoned out on like just what we call in Trinidad the politics. It's not politics. And again, like what Debo said, I don't think the coaches who won are terrible. I'm not saying that they don't deserve recognition. All I'm saying is that if we're going to base this on who has what, if you look at all those three teams and who has like no superstar, and again, people doubted the Raptors' capabilities without Kawhi. A lot of people did. So I thought that he would have won based on just what he has achieved this year with his current team in the regular season. Yeah.
So I don't know if this is zoned in or zoned out, but I am. I'd have to say this is probably going to be very unpopular and actually surprising to a lot of people who have spoken to about this. But I think Coach of the Year should go to Billy Donovan, tell you the truth. Not even Budenholzer.
See, I'm not even mad at this.
And here's my reasoning. Walk with me.
I didn't go hold you.
Okay, watch this. So let's backtrack to before the season started. Okay, so Raptors lost Kawhi, and a lot of people had us at the basement. But then some people thought we'd still be competitive, right, at the start of the season. When you look at OKC lost their two best players. They lost Russell Westbrook and they lost Paul George. And who they picked up in return was a whole heap of picks.
Yes, that's
true. They picked up Gallinari. They picked up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they picked up Chris Paul. If we had this conversation before the season started and we said, what do you think OKC is going to do? Everybody here, there's actually nobody that said OKC would be in the playoffs. We had them in the basement for like 20 years.
Facts.
Debo, you agree?
Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
Come on, let's be real. Let's be real.
Especially
let's be real.
Around the 8 seed. Definitely.
Debo, no, stop this. Debo, in the West.
In the West, stop lying, bro.
In the West, Debo, you're going to tell me after they lost all their key players and they picked up a bag of picks that you thought they'd be anywhere close to the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I did not. I thought they were doomed. I mean, poor Chris Paul.
Well, a lot of people.
Remember, the West is different this year.
No, we said
Golden
it
State is
now, but I'm
donezo.
saying at the beginning of the season, I don't know.
Golden State was donezo. So that's the spot right there.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is just the fact that this team is in the thick of things in the Western Conference, in which I had no idea they'd be. So the Raptors. I already thought the Raptors were going to be a competitive team regardless.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Nick Nurse did an amazing job, but he didn't do the type of job that Billy Donovan did and took a team that was what I thought was irrelevant and made them relevant this year. I have to go with Billy Donovan. I'm sorry.
I'm not mad at that again.
Honestly, that's a fair point. I can't argue against that. Like, yeah, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I was just shocked that he was third, I guess. And Milwaukee, like, that coach he won last year. So, and like, they're doing what they're doing typically, like Milwaukee. Everyone's expecting to be number one. No one's shocked about
And
that.
Milwaukee's roster got better, I would say, from last year.
But as a coach, like, he has a really good team.
So? How did Milwaukee's team get better?
Who'd they lose?
They lost Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon?
Yes.
Yeah.
They added Wesley Matthews, the other Lopez brother.
Okay, yeah.
George Hill. I think that makes up.
No, hold on. George Hill was there last year.
Yeah.
Was?
Yeah, he was there last year.
But I hear you the first two. Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes up for Malcolm Brogdon. I like their roster a little bit better this year. Plus, they made a big leap. Chris, what's his name? Middleton, yeah.
Well, he's an all-star last year too, though.
No, but I think he made a huge leap this year.
No, that's unfair. Fair enough.
But again, guys, let's just say this. Do you consider Chris Paul a superstar? Now?
Chris Paul?
Yeah. Your face. Why are you saying like thinking about this? Yes or no? Chris Paul, superstar.
I mean, you're the one that said now.
Well, I'm saying, well, I mean, Chris Paul is obviously
that's key right there. Aging superstar, yes.
Yeah, he's a superstar. Yeah, like Chris Paul is really, I think he's a superstar. Like
Well, yeah, he's an all-star, so like, of course, like.
But no, I mean like superstar. There's all-star, but I mean superstar.
Is he a
like?
superstar?
Like Clippers was built around him. Like I think he's a superstar in my eyes. So I'm saying both those teams have superstars, and we don't have a super. I mean, Kyle Lowry is trying to put that superstar flag up now, but I'm just saying like they both have superstars. So.
Question for the group. Does this Raptors team remind you of the 04 Pistons?
Yes, I've been saying that. Of course.
See, I got a lot of hate for saying this.
Why?
Why?
I don't know. Know what I say? And my cousin's been saying this, and he's right. Toronto Raptor fans are very sensitive. If you don't say anything that's like just absolute praise of the Raptors, you're a hater.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm also a hater, but
hometown favorite, or it's like LeBron James fans, right? Or the Lakers fans.
Listen, LeBron fans are the most.
You know what though? I didn't realize how bad. I didn't know Toronto as a fan base was just as bad as all the other ones.
But you know what? I think we have to have one because even last year in the playoffs, we've had no respect for so long.
Put some respect on our names. That's the theme for the night. Come on. Last year during, I think it was the first round, maybe second round, I don't remember, of the playoffs. Me and a friend were on a cruise, like a cruise ship, Carnival cruise ship. And we were the only people on a boat of, I don't even know how many thousands of people. We're the only people literally cheering for the Raptors. Like, nobody outside of Canada has respect.
Toronto versus everybody.
No, like real talk.
Literally.
And that's in hockey. That's in every sport. That's what, like, Toronto fans, we're always the ones, like, we have to always defend us. We're like that Boston. You know how Boston is with their teams? We're like that now. Like, if you live in Toronto, come with the proper understanding that if you bash any team, any one of our teams, we will.
We're coming for you like the Beehive.
Oh yeah, like the Beehive. Even if we actually don't care, we'll definitely come for you. Yeah.
Black is king. Check it out. Plug that in. Beyonce.
All right. So last one is the XFL. I want to know if you guys are zoned in or zoned out with the XFL.
The Rock.
Yes. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson purchased the XFL for $15 million. Him and he's got a co-owner who's his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, and they've been doing business together since from time.
Ain't that dope?
Sorry?
Ain't that dope?
Yeah. So are you guys, a lot of things with this is, are you guys zoned in, zoned out with the XFL trying again? Because they had ownership of Vince McMahon before. They just like the third time trying. So are you zoned in or zoned out with them getting a new owner and trying to keep this alive?
I love it. For a long time, I've been saying I would love to see some Black-owned leagues, especially with these leagues where it's like the Black people are running the show for the most part. Like imagine an NBA with just Luka Doncic and Gordon Hayward.
Boring.
I mean, it won't be the worst. It won't be the worst. There'll be some solid basketball there, but I'm going for LeBron James and all the other brothers. You know what I mean? So like when Kyrie Irving said like, yo, we should make our own league. I'm like, yo, I've been saying this for years. So I would love to see whatever The Rock does get to the point where it challenges the NFL and we can see like the Monday Night Wars that was going on in wrestling back in the day happen with football.
Lisa.
That's a good point. I'll be honest, I don't have the most knowledge on the XFL. I did do some research earlier today. But to Debo's point, it would be the same feeling I got watching the Raptors win last year. Like I would love to see a league owned by a Black person. So I'm zoned in on that point for sure.
Yeah, and I'm a bit different from you guys, so I'm zoned in. I'm happy that The Rock is trying to help this league. I think he was talking about how he played for the CFL for the Calgary Stampeders. Well, he tried to play, but I think they cut him before his first game. But he wanted to give football players an opportunity to get exposure to make it, and he thinks the XFL would be a good stepping stone for athletes. And I think one athlete was signed from the XFL to NFL this year. So it's a good way to get athletes who were missed because their agent didn't have besties or, all the politics in an NFL league. It gives athletes a chance to play in a league that people will watch, right? And people can scout from. So I'm zoned in on that. I'm zoned out on the fact that, they were bankrupt and he kind of bailed them out. So I'm just hoping he won't be making any money from this league for a few more years, but hopefully he can drop some more movies because the league will not be making him any money. But hopefully with endorsements, and I think The Rock, he's like one of the most popular guys on social media. Like everyone loves it. Hopefully with his name as a brand and with his connections, he can kind of pick it up in terms of popularity, getting endorsements in there, and hopefully he can turn it around. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm zoned in. With The Rock being an owner, I think it's needed. The XFL, like I said, they've tried numerous times and they failed. I guess the timing thing, COVID thing really killed it because this was the time where they were actually for the first time starting to get some momentum. From me, myself, so I like the NFL. The CFL, okay, I don't want to change the topic at all, but the CFL, I'd say it's a different brand of football, and
Canadian rules.
Yeah, we'll say, to be safe, we'll say, yeah, Canadian rules, but also the quality of football, it's not the NFL. Let's not kid ourselves, right? So,
at all.
Yeah. So, but
nobody, we're zoned in on that, Faheem. We're zoned in on that point for sure.
Okay. But the XFL, they have. It's kind of the same thing. Like even I tried watching one of the games earlier this year, And I can't say like there's a big gap in the quality of play I'm noticing. They're doing a good job of like marketing it. But at the end of the day, it starts with players. If people aren't familiar with the players, then they're not really going to gravitate to the league unless you live in the towns that these teams are. I couldn't name anybody who played in the XFL, and if the league continues, unless that player goes on to the NFL, I'm probably not going to be invested enough to know who these B-list players are. But I'll say this lastly, The Rock's a smart man. So yes, it's $15 million, but we have to look at, as Nelly said, they went bankrupt, right? And he purchased a bankrupt company. So we have to think kind of like, buy low, sell high. He got a league at a discount. So who knows what the long, you got at 15 now, you put in the work, 5 years down the road, that 15 could be worth, 50 million, and at that point, then, sell it to the NFL or whatever. I think if you're looking for like a second level of football, I think it's a good investment. So I'm zoned in with the fact that it's a long road ahead, but he's going to make it exciting. Casuals are going to tune in because it's The Rock. And I think he's a great business mind. So, thumbs up and salute to The Rock for the purchase.
Awesome.
I got some real quick points I'd like to make. One, the XFL, they had a 30 for 30 about it a while back, and the guy who was making the 30 for 30 learned that the XFL was trying to make a comeback during the productions. So what he tried to do was undercut them by making his own football league, which was the Association of American Football, or the American Football Alliance.
Or was that Alliance? Alliance of American Football. Right.
Yes.
Right.
So that was the football league that he tried to do to undermine the XFL that went under.
Right.
Then I'd like to change my favorite athlete to The Rock. And lastly,
really?
The NFL, the Rock, his story is a lot like mine in many ways. The Rock, no, not The Rock, but football and basketball, the only sports where you can't just come out of it from high school. Well, basketball, they're trying to get back to it, but football and basketball are the only sports where you can't just get into it out of high school. So, for example, baseball, you can just jump into it as soon as you're drafted. Hockey, you can just jump into it as soon as you're drafted.
All of them.
Basketball and football are the only sports where you have to wait before you can get into that league. So if you're the best player on the planet, you have to wait before you're making your money.
And we all know why, because colleges want to capitalize off these athletes and make money from it. It's all a money pit.
Also this. And so the XFL and what the G League is now doing, I like that a lot, because it's giving a lot of options to people who are need that money right away and really don't want to go to school.
Facts.